Hey, welcome EOS community. Really appreciate you kind of following along and keeping up with the topic that we discuss weekly. It's tokenomics and DACs for another episode. Want to make it a quick episode. I don't have any guests here today, but just wanted to just make sure I'm consistent and giving you some kind of content to think about as we just go forward. It's probably more for me to just keep being consistent than anything else, but really appreciate everybody who follows along and watches this and is excited about DACs and tokenomics as I am. So really want to keep this short. Congratulations to eosDAC. They launched. They got the 15% quorum that they needed to officially launch the DAC. So that is live. The eosDAC is live, and I'm excited. So the 15% threshold is met. We have the list. If you go on your member client website, you're going to see the custodian board. There's 12 people. Our friend Luke Stokes is on it. Michael Yates. There's a number of other people that you might have heard of in the community. So it's exciting. 12 people on the custodian board, and they're going to be helping manage this organization going forward. But again, everybody who has voting stake gets to have a say in what goes on in this organization. So I think that's maybe I'll share my screen here a little bit just to show what the eosDAC website looks like here. So I'm going to share the screen here. So hopefully you guys can see it. But that's the custodian board, and it's all at the top of the dashboard. So that's kind of cool, right? So that's pretty much it. It's all listed up at the top there, and I'm excited. So, and then you can play around the constitutions here, token explorer, whatever it is, but you get the idea. So excited about the official launch of eosDAC. Justin, you're here, so let's go ahead and bring Justin here. I think he's might join in here. I was trying to grab him here earlier, but I'm glad, Justin, you're here. So I'm going to invite you. So yeah, this is history. Hey, how's it going, Mel? How's it going?
How you doing?
Good. So yeah, really appreciate you coming here, Justin. We'll probably try to keep this meeting short. I have a 3 o'clock, and I'm sorry for the delay. I usually try to do this earlier at noon, and yeah, really exciting. eosDAC 15%. What do you think, Justin?
Yeah, it's great news, isn't it? So what does this mean? Like everything gets kicked off, people get in charge now.
Yeah, the multi-sig. All the custodians now have the control, so the Michael, Luke, and the others that had this multi-sig control now is essentially relinquishing that over to the board, and so you have 12 board members, and it's a really good, it's a really good system, and I think there's a lot of opportunity for people to now kind of just wait and see exactly if they're make sure the technology is it's actually eosDAC.io, just for those that were wondering which website I was on. But yeah, it's eosDAC.io, and it's but yeah, so it's great. And then we'll make sure the technology is there. They were probably a little bit anxious to make sure that there's not any bugs or anything like that. But it seems, as far as I know, to be working well right now. So they also have a Discord channel where there's a lot of activity. A lot of the organizing happens on the Discord channel. If you go to the eosDAC website, they have a link to the Discord channel, and they have a bot, I think, that essentially kind of is integrated with the membership website. So yeah, so Mark, I know Mark, he's from tipit.io. Hopefully your project is going well, and he's on Discord. So maybe you should reach out, Mark, to the eosDAC guys and see if you could have the tipping actions kind of integrated in with eosDAC. Maybe they can. They use EOS. They don't probably use a whole lot of eosDAC for payments and transfers yet, but that's an option. I think they usually just use EOS to pay contributors and and make payments to any services and things like that. So yeah, excited to see tipit.io. Shout out to Mark and his project, and it's a tipping system on Discord. And Discord seems to be a kind of a favored platform. I don't use it a whole lot, but it seems to be like what the cool kids are using, right? So maybe.
Why do you think that is, Joe? I think it's free, right? Is that part of it, perhaps? I mean, if you're building a DAC, you might have limitless amount of members.
Yeah, Mark comment, and he's building is integrating with Discord. So yeah, feel free, Mark, and if you want to be on video too, we can invite you too if you. Definitely. Yeah, so let's invite Mark if he wants to join us, or he can comment on the chat. So yeah, Discord. Yeah, I see. Yeah, it's just a lot of activity in Discord. People just like it. There are a lot of gamers is what I assume, but we'll hear from Mark if he accepts, or if not, we'll wait for him to chat. Okay, he's working on his mic. So.
In the meantime, I was wondering, do you think it was? I know, like, you have to set a limit somewhere, and 15%, I think, was a quite achievable target, I guess, for eosDAC. But the funny thing is, like, if you were looking at, say, a presidential election or something like that, you wouldn't want the election to just stop at 15% all of a sudden. And that seems to be how it works with eosDAC. Was there like a period after 15% is reached before it finishes, or it sounds like it just stops immediately at 15%?
Yeah, it is a good question. You want to keep it. I think a system as open as possible, so that I'm hoping it was just a minimum threshold. I assume that voting still continues. So if someone is not among the top 12, but gets the support, that eventually they could be next in line. I don't know what the terms are. I should have looked at the Constitution about the board of directors, how often the members or the custodian board is elected for. I wish I knew that information. So custodian board. So yeah, I would have to look at the Constitution. Sorry, I don't know the details, but I do agree in principle that it would be good to keep it open. I mean, for organizations in general and EOS included, ultimately you want to see over 50%, right? And okay, why is that needed if we only have 10 members in a DAC? Why can't a new election be called for when we have 100? So yeah, Greg, I don't know. I'd have to clarify the details. So if we only have 10 members in a DAC, why can't it? So yeah, so I think there's flexibility. I think you could design a system where, as it increases in number, you could call a special election and get a new board in place when that kind of provides more legitimacy. So okay, great. And that's typically what happens. I think right now, just like for example, EOS, there's we're struggling to get even the minimum threshold here. So those that are active kind of get more say these days, and it's okay. But eventually, you do want to hit a 50% threshold to get some more validation, I think, in general. And that's always a good number when you have a majority. That's accepted as typically accepted as the deciding factor in official elections. So, but so I think it's up to it's interesting. And that's more of a governance issue too. We'll talk about that in the governance session, I think, on Thursday. What is what? Oh, okay. So yeah, what is a valid quorum number? What threshold is kind of the minimum? I also think you could use statistics. Like you could say, hey, like some of the referendum proposals are like they're at 90%, and statistically, the more people you get, it's probably going to not change too much, right? And even if you're at a lower threshold, it's like you're eventually going to get that. So I think that kind of those kinds of techniques and methods are okay as well. And then if you're just you're refraining or abstaining from voting, then you have to be more active about voting upfront and not like withholding your vote, right? Because that's a strategy. That could be a strategy. Like they don't want to even legitimize the vote, right? But I think if you use more of a statistical method, you're going to encourage everyone to vote upfront and not withhold their vote. So anyway, so I'm excited. Organizations really. I mean, I think each and every one of us are I know Greg, I think he was working on his DAC at EDNA, EDNA. And I don't know, I think, was it rebranded recently, Greg? But fingers pointing. Okay. Yeah. EDNA. So yeah, a lot of very cool and innovative technology coming up. So tokenomics DACs. Oh, I did want to share something. Let me see. I saw this. There's this company called Aragon. Most of you may have heard. I'm gonna try to. I hope the audio is okay. But let me get. There's this video from Aragon, and I'm gonna try to play it if that's cool. It's like a 5-minute video. If that's cool. I think it's worth sharing.
Sounds good.
So, so let me go to Ethereum, and okay, so let me go to this real quick, and let me share my screen here. Chrome tab. Okay, so hopefully this works here. Let me know if it doesn't, but I'm gonna show this here. You guys see this?
Yep. So if there's going to be a revolution, I think there's already a revolution happening. We're seeing it everywhere.
Honestly, I feel like blockchain is almost slipping through the cracks. They don't even see that we're a threat yet. If you have a decentralized entity that people can opt into, that starts performing services that the government used to provide, then what do you need these guys for? Bitcoin is the first real experiment in DAOs. It's the first DAO that ever existed.
What's a DAO? I mean, decentralized autonomous organization is what it stands for, right?
Basically, a decentralized autonomous organization is an organization in which you can interact with it without having to go through an intermediary.
I think that's very important for us to have tools that are really censorship resistant.
We have evolved so much as a society, but yet our governance structures are hundreds of years old.
We had a long period of monarchies, right? And that was a very centralized form of governance. And we had a great evolution with democracies, right? Spreading that power a bit more. Now, I would argue that corporations are superseding nation states in terms of their power.
You're a digital serf right now, living on Facebook. You work the land, you work the feed, and they take all the benefit. They take all of the value, right? It's a free service where you are the product.
Systems tend to perpetuate themselves. In other words, capitalism tends to do what's best for the market. maybe not what is best for all the individuals who comprise the market.
Silicon Valley, they tend to fund projects or companies that are trying to solve very much first world problems. How do you get your food 5 minutes quicker? How do you get your Uber 2 minutes faster? Whereas with blockchain technology, we have the ability to fund initiatives that will produce true social good and provide value to the most undervalued parts of humanity.
This is the most egalitarian way to construct systems.
The culture is moving faster than the nation state can handle, right? We can have that same personal feeling that I have with my neighbor with the people in a chat room.
Traditional government institutions take a tremendously long time to fail, and when they do fail, there's usually violence, so we try not to let them fail.
But today, we are in the first time in history that we can actually try out new governance models without the need of people getting killed, because we can try those governance models from the comfort of our sofa.
In the mathematical realm, you cannot threat an algorithm with a gun because it's unstoppable. It's open source code. The cat's out of the bag right away when someone has the idea.
Anything closed source is like saying, I'm a scientist and I've proved something, but I'm not going to show you how I proved it.
It's just free. You download it from the internet. It's open source. You want to enhance it, you do it. And if you don't like it, you can just fork it.
And if we have means by which groups can connect to each other to form larger governance structures that govern the entire whole, then we have something that kind of is resembling a fractal structure.
If you think about kind of other examples of superorganisms, you know, like beehives and ant colonies, or even just the human body itself is a bunch of cells and microorganisms that are all working together in a single like human body as their environment.
But now what we have proliferating with crypto networks is actually these supranational protocols in which human activity can be governed on this international basis without nation states, without corporations.
So what it allows is for people to come together from wherever, and they can interact together, they can make decisions, they can share in the common enterprise, and then they can all benefit together.
Governance ends up being a really key part of making that work. And if you view blockchains from an evolutionary standpoint, this may be the most critical feature one could imagine.
Any organization of any kind, from your mom and pop shop to your decentralized autonomous organization, can create an entity on Aragon's network and use it for all kinds of things, like their cap table, like payroll, to show where their finances are going, for voting, for upgrades, to the way in which that organization works.
Aragon is a tool that I think will spawn many different early attempts at decentralized governance structures, which, if implemented well, will be powerful.
It's actually two components. So the first one is the Aragon platform to build and govern organizations, societies, and protocols. And the other part is the first digital jurisdiction that has ever existed, the Aragon network.
That doesn't happen very often in the real world. It's rare that you get to set up a new central bank or a new government. So I think we're going to be in sort of this Cambrian explosion of experimentation on both of those fronts.
But with any huge transition that happens in human history, they are very insistent in making us believe that we need them. So the incumbents are trying to use their marketing power, their communication power, their surveillance power to convince people that they still need them. That the market and the people will eventually figure out that they don't. And that will be the end of the establishment.
Yeah,
that was cool.
Yeah, it was. Cool. Huh? It's really well done, and it's kind of like, yeah, it's inspiring too. So, I better. Okay, so yeah, I'll send a link. Actually, I just closed it, unfortunately, but let me grab it back here. But in the meantime, I'll invite Mark to talk about Discord a little bit. As well, but yeah, it was. Well, any other comments, Justin, about the video? Feel free to.
That was cool. That was cool. What do you know about Aragon? I'd love to know more about it.
Yeah, they're very similar to eosDAC on the Ethereum platform. They've been around. They did an ICO, and Mark's on audio here with us as well. So maybe you can. But yeah, go ahead, Justin. Yeah, that's essentially nutshell, that they're doing decentralized autonomous organizations and companies. You know, and I like the, you know, it was, you know, I think Fred Eshram, he's a former Coinbase founder. He is a founder. You know, he just mentioned some things about experimentation, because it's kind of funny. You see a lot of elements in the video where it's like, okay, against capitalism, against you know, just government. But then on the flip side, then you see this image of like cap tables and, and things. It's like, that's like a lot of traditional company stuff. So, you know, it's a balance. It's a lot of experimentation. We don't know, you know, what the right formula is. The fractal idea is great, right? I think there's elements of that, but I don't think we need to kind of throw away everything in terms of like, you know, more of the traditional models of I guess cap tables and equity type structures and models. So anyways, it'd be interesting. That's just my comment. I just thought it was a kind of a, it's an interesting.
Yeah, it's awesome.
So then any other comments, Justin, and then we can let Mark.
I think Greg is keen to come in as well, if we can.
Okay, sure. All right. So let's invite Greg.
Yeah, this is Mark. You guys were asking about why Discord, and the first thing I'd like to ask, and maybe people can comment in the chat too, is why Telegram? Because it absolutely sucks. I don't understand why anybody's using that crap. What's cool about Discord is you have one, it's called servers and then channels. So let's say a server might be tipit or maybe you know, eosDAC or something, but then within that you'll have multiple channels, like you know, one for just general discussions, maybe one for our tip bot, one for EOS Cafe is using it pretty extensively. They have like automatic bots that bring in like Twitter news and Reddit news and stuff like that. So it's kind of it's become my go-to source to find latest news on EOS and stuff like that. We started on Discord for tipit.io because one is our developer was already playing around with it, doing bots and things like that. But the other thing is we're really trying to get into the mainstream. What I think in EOS is that it's so fringe right now, and I don't really see a lot of new people getting in very much. So we're trying to get people in without any knowledge of EOS whatsoever, so they can get involved and start receiving tips. And we're sending all these tokens around without them. They don't even need an EOS account until they're ready to withdraw or have some significant balance or something like that. So I'm really happy with Discord. I've tried Slack, didn't like that. Glip, didn't like that. And Telegram is the worst of all. So that's my view.
Okay. Yeah, that sounds good. Yeah, thanks for the insights. Yeah, a lot of integrations, I guess, and you know, allowing people to have news feeds from other sources. So it seems like Discord is you know, and it's you know, Telegram is just like just a wall of kind of messages that you can never really keep up with. So I kind of can.
Yeah, you can't see and can't kind of follow a thread of thought too, because it's all this other weird stuff in there. So in Discord, you just create a new channel if there's some new, and then you maybe destroy that channel later. You know, it'd be cool to have a channel of just Dan Larimer messages where he can jump on and, you know, just his comments or something like that. That would be kind of cool.
There is a Telegram channel that, you know, we're bashing Telegram, but no, there is a Telegram channel that does that. Actually, it's just Dan Larimer comments.
Yeah, I use that too, where it like filters out his comments, but it's still hard to get the context of what he's responding to and stuff like that. So, yeah, but tipit.io, I just released another Medium article today, which is kind of comparing traditional money versus digital money from a security standpoint, kind of securing your money. And it really made me think about, you know, how hard it is on digital money, but also it's kind of hard in traditional, but we're just so used to it. You know, it starts with your little piggy bank when you're a kid, and then you get a joint account with your parents and moves, you know, step by step like that. Whereas with, you know, the digital money side, you're kind of expected to jump in and know everything and have secure keys right out of the bat. And there's a big learning curve there. So we for one want to make that easier for people.
I think that's the biggest challenge, and once we overcome that, I think that's then we get mainstream. I think that's probably the biggest hurdle, and but we're close. I think there are solutions. It's just a matter of implementing.
We're having some really great community engagement on Discord. Also, we're now supporting about 10 different tokens. The Bean token. ANX was one that we're just doing, and the ANX people are actually using Tipit as sort of an airdrop approach for all their users, whether they have EOS accounts or not.
Okay, yeah. Is this the Hong Kong company ANX?
I don't know a lot about it, except I know that one of the persons is Jay Peterson, and he works with everything EOS.
Oh, okay.
I don't know a lot about that. I do know a little bit more about the EOS Bean guys. They're like a lot of Venezuela people, and we're always talking about the government issues down in Venezuela, and then. But ANX, I still have to research more. But my developer knows and got on their channel and started working with them and got their token running, and so it's working pretty good.
Okay, sounds good. No, I was thinking of another company probably that's outside, but that's fine. I was just this is a non-EOS kind of project I remember from before, but that's okay. Thanks for the clarity. Yeah, I'll check it out. So just Discord, I'll go to tipit.io and then check you guys out, see which ecosystems are I guess running with your software.
One other thing I just mentioned, I'm not sure if this is the right forum or whatever, but the Tron is jumping ahead of EOS. They're now the top 3 apps in the whole space is Tron apps. Betting stuff. But and then I got on Tron and used it, and it worked seamlessly from a user standpoint. I don't know the technical details, what's happening behind the scenes in the blockchain like I do on EOS, but it's serious competition, by the way. So I actually bought my first Tron yesterday through Changely, EOS directly to Tron. So I don't want to defect, but I think I got on EOS because of the governance, and the governance is not working quite yet. So it's important to get that fixed.
Yeah. Well, I think, so, this is an EOS show. Come on, Mark. No, it's, people are open, this is, friendly, kind of, not so much competition. People say rivalry, where, we're doing, we want to push the ecosystem forward. I think there's a lot of benefits on EOS that, probably in Tron, no one knows about, and but technologically, at least it works. So I think that's kudos to Tron and having something that works. They use something very similar to Ethereum and probably created a delegated proof of stake system right off of kind of a model just that Ethereum used. So I think there's that's a good strategy. Just do things that already work and just improve it some way, and they just kind of combine the two. At least that's I haven't looked deeply into it, but that's kind of my sense of things. And kudos to them. They market well too. I think that if anything,
that marketing is really good. Yeah, we could use more of that high power marketing going on.
But ultimately, though, I think it's driven a little bit too much on the marketing side, and then we need someone. I've always trust people that have the technical knowledge and the right kind of just the right vision and purpose, and Dan Larimer and people who've, you know, I think they have that. So it's not, you know, it's not the other way around where, you know, the marketing and that drives the technology, and it's more like, you know, it's kind of goes hand in hand with EOS. Like you have the understanding of that, but, you know, technology is first and foremost.
Well, believe me, I'm all in EOS, so it's not like that. I'm just kind of throwing a slight little warning out there that a little fire under the communities, but a little bit on, you know, let's look at Block One hasn't released shit yet, except the EOS chain, right? And they keep saying, in fact, that issue. We pulled back on some of the things we were doing because they were saying they were going to come out something that we needed. And so why would we develop it? That was 4 months ago.
No, that's true too. Their timeline and their kind of, I guess, some delays have, I do agree, are a little bit of a concern. I mean, the wallet, you know, IBC, they didn't necessarily say it was going to be, you know, soon, but it seems as though other people are now having to take it under their own kind of use their own efforts to get a lot of these things done. So we'll see. I mean,
and they're also not voting to fix some of these governance issues that they know are an issue and we know are an issue, like the Constitution and things like that. So anyways, if that was Tron, I think that marketing guy would have been fixing that stuff.
Yeah, we'll see.
The reason Tron doesn't have any governance issues because it's centralized ownership at the moment.
Probably, yeah. There's some elements of.
So there's no.
Yeah, I think so. Without that would be at least a fair assumption. But, you know, we'll see. I mean, that, you know, we'll have to.
But I think there's good points there. I think there's an advantage because it uses Solidity, so you have Ethereum developers who are ready to go to utilize Tron, and they obviously have very good marketing. And I actually think it's rather good that, you know, we have this competition from another chain or another technology because it will spur on EOS and EOS.io, I think.
Yep. Yeah. That's good point. I agree.
So Greg's been listening intently here. Let's see if he's got any thoughts. You know, this is a tokenomics and DACs show. So if there's anything else you guys find interesting or in terms of tokenomics or DACs, feel free to you know, let us know about that. But yeah, Greg's here just fixing his mic here. He's got a nice setup.
Cool.
I don't know if he hears.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. Loud and clear.
I want to talk tokenomics in a way that maybe a lot of people haven't thought of yet.
Okay.
Been working very hard. I feel like I look. Can I show a screen?
Yeah. Someone has to be. Hey, Mark, are you okay right now? Like, we have.
Otherwise, I can drop.
Was
off.
that?
I can drop off. Otherwise.
Oh yeah. No, well, who wants? Yeah. It's just. I'll bring you back in, Mark.
Yeah, you can drop me off. Go ahead.
Okay, and then we'll invite you back in here.
Thanks, Mark.
Yeah, thanks.
Just 1 second.
Okay. So yeah. We got about 15 minutes too, because I got a 3 o'clock or 12 minutes. I got a 3 o'clock.
Yeah, you know me. What I got to do here?
It's you go to the.
So you get to scroll over your screen.
You go to your image, a video capture image right here.
That's it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it must have a dual screen. I see. It's always like, you know, people looking the other way. They usually have a dual screen, it seems. So, all right.
So you're looking at the front page.
All right.
Oh wow.
Of the EDNA DAC software, which will be released in the next 2 weeks. Something to be aware of. You'll notice at the top you got a scatter login and a squirrel login. Both chains, Telos and EOS, are supported. User's choice, all function. So if you want to get your referrals off the EOS side and stake your DAC on the Telos side, you get to.
Oh,
I'm sorry if my voice is kind of broken. I'm hearing a horrible echo. I'm sure it's me.
oh, let me see if there's anything on my end.
But when we talk about governance and tokenomics, I think most people think of so far staking as the limit to what they can do with a token. We're a lot adding to that. The EDNA market is a lease market. I've got some extra EDNA. I can throw it up on a lease, say what my fee is or what my profit margin should be. That goes into an open-end market. Somebody takes that, spends it on getting sequencing, and then the contract pays back the investor out of the profits they're earning by selling their DNA data. That's kind of innovative, and it's life-changing. And the two things at the bottom are what you can do with excess profits, if there is such a thing, to you. We've hooked up with people that are stopping both of those in Africa in a big way. And they need genetic services to be effective at preventing rhinoceroses and elephant kills and human traffic. Same people do both things. Same solution is identify unequivocally who that kid is owned by, who that rhino is owned by. And I'm super stoked. When we look at what you can do with a token, it's not just earn a profit anymore. It's changed the world. Now realize if you throw this into some money into that in that DNA market, you put $800 worth of EDNA, you get one person in sub-Saharan Africa or India sequenced, that's $70,000. Do you realize that's generational changing money? He won't need to let a poacher get away with it. He can afford to pay his kids. He doesn't need a poacher's bribe to look the other way. This is where we're headed. When you talk tokenomics, man, we think market, you think investor, and it's such a narrow box to put tokenomics in. Hopefully we can exchange that, get people thinking, what can we do? I'm done sharing.
That's great. That's great. I like from the tokenomic standpoint, the leasing and just other kind of potential possibilities, and also the business model you're in. The DNA and the value of people's DNA. Mark also mentioned that hey, there was a project that won the EOS hackathon.
Yeah, which must be a good idea. Wonder where they got it.
So, but yeah, that's great. It's a great market. You want to see as much kind of rivals or competitors in the area that validates the idea, right? So,
hey man, there's 7 billion people.
Yeah,
it's a lot of DNA. EDNA will never do them all. Man, if somebody wants to clone EDNA, yeah, I'll help my ass off making sure they succeed. Yeah. We have good work to do here. Yeah. People's lives will be changed.
Yeah,
man. There's a guy in our Telegram. He's a heart physician, heart surgeon. Almost lost a patient. Had that patient been sequenced, they would have known not to give him the drug they gave him that nearly killed him.
Oh,
not the surgery, the drug.
Wow,
that's a life.
And
that's just one.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is just amazing technology that are that's just not only blockchain but just DNA. The trends there are just amazing. Like how powerful it is.
It's a storm.
Yeah,
And it's not just EDNA. Look around, other areas of technology are accelerating and just a more rapid of that rate.
Yeah, that's amazing. So, hey, so
well, thank you for letting me share that.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. We got a sneak peek first on here, right?
Yeah,
I think so.
Hey, were you working with the eosDAC guys or collaborating with them on the DAC?
I looked at their code, and trust me, it gave me awesome ideas. I didn't want to adapt it because we have some very specific requirements above and beyond.
I got you.
One of the things I wanted to do is reward people who vote. We have different classes of voting. Proposal, a member promoted proposal. Hey, the DAC should do this. We have a like and an unlike button. Once that hits a certain level, flips to a custodial vote. They decide. They screw around and can't decide. It goes into governance limbo, say. After 48 hours, 1 down, 2 down, 3 down. Now it's a referendum. That's all in code. So the membership will decide. And this custodian's going to get a bad mark. Why can't you govern? Why can't you make a decision, get this thing moving? We don't have time for your infighting. Solve things. It's going to kick out guys who want to obstruct EDNA or are there for their own agenda because they got 12 guys who got to get into an agreement. This is a governance form. It's been in my head for a long time. But now I got code to express it. So when you look at how the features of eosDAC were excellent, I think not only that, it makes it so easy. I actually did it. I set it up on my box. I plugged in the code. I turned it on. I poked around at it. I'm like, God, this is cool. Somebody could turn on a DAC here in a weekend. That's cool. EDNA is already evolved in other areas and things have been thought through. This is how it should run. We had to roll around. And if you're a coder, you know it's much more challenging to go behind somebody else's code and twist it into your own. Much easier to clean piece of paper, roll it from the ground. But I read what he did before I rolled. So yeah.
No, I got it. It makes sense. Yeah, it is hard to even understand a lot of times without documentation. You know,
and it wasn't bad. It was documented. Okay, I could figure it out. Yeah. But again, if you hadn't done that, I could do this so easy. Well, just start.
Makes sense. Yeah, it makes sense though overall. So. We got a couple minutes here. Really appreciate that. Was cool. I like that a lot. It was a great. Any other?
There's a question here from Mark. So it's running on EOS and Telos, correct? How is the separation done between EOS and Telos? That's basically what.
Really good question. We wrote a script. We have all 4 nets running in read-only mode. JungleNet 2, Jungle 2, Telos testnet, both of the live ones. We created a new action that burns a token. When our script sees that on EOS, it issues one on Telos, and it works in reverse. So the circulating supply stays even. We just burn them on one side, issue them on the other. If anybody wants that script, we're about to open source it. It's now through enough testing. You can go see it on JungleNet too and poke at it. EDNA's token is the contract, but the script's the real sweet point.
So will you spin up a new account for them on Telos with the exact same username on the same public key?
They have to have one. You provide that target account to the burn in that same action method on the contract. Okay. But that exists on both chains. That contract's there. It says send to EOS, send to Telos. The rest of it's identical.
Well, that's IBC right there, right? At least a large part of the IBC kind of.
What's that? IBC? Seriously, I'm stupid. What is that?
Well, inter-blockchain communication.
What they got that? Awesome.
Okay. No, that's cool that you already did that. That's awesome, man. So we got to check it out. Yeah. The EDNA token contract allows that. So it's kind of like this, almost like it's its own entity that can kind of shift over from one to another network, with the supply shifting.
Well, it's expensive though. I don't like that we had to do this. Okay. I've got to have a server with 300 gigabytes of disk, SSD disk. So if somebody could build a business out of this and say, look, all you got to do is dump this method. They could come get all the code for me, set it up, host the server, provide me a service, charge me a billionth of an EDNA per EDNA or something, we'd use it. They could sell it to somebody else. Here's the thing. ETH only takes one more method in the script, and that's written. So if somebody wanted to go hop from ETH to EOS to EDNA to Tron, I see blockchains as an OS. I like iPhone. You like Android. We get to still text each other, right?
Okay. Yeah. You should. No, I agree totally. And so, all right, you should get. Yeah, I think you should connect. We'll try to help you connect with.
Hook me up. Yeah. Find me on chat somewhere.
Yeah.
So when can we put our DNA on the blockchain?
Yeah.
Do we have a rough time for that?
Our lead scientist is arguing with me over how fast it can be done. I tell him by April 1st, he's got capacity of 5,000 genomes per month. He says no.
The lab capacity?
The lab. He says we should shoot for 2,000. I said, can you give me 2,500? He said, yeah. I said, okay, call another university and get us somebody else like you so we can have 2 labs because we need 5,000 a month. That's minimum. Go.
All right.
No, it's going to happen. To answer your question, mid-April, you can spit in a cup at the latest.
That's all you need to do is spit in a cup and send it off.
Well, you got to write your public key on it.
Okay.
Your account name.
So it's
tell us what blockchain you want.
Yeah, exciting.
So they don't put a return address, so it's completely anonymous.
Yeah, we don't want to know who you are. Then they can come make us tell them. I don't like them.
That's awesome.
I like you.
All right, cool, guys. No, I think it's a great question to end on, and I think it's exciting and really appreciate it. And I got this thing I had to do at 3 here, so
Thank you for the time.
Really,
yeah, we'll get you on for another show. I want to ask more questions.
Yeah, we'll do that. We'll invite you back, guys. All right. So cool. Thanks, Justin. Thanks, Greg. Thanks, Mark. All the audience, Mel, Shaw, everybody else out there. Really appreciate it. So see you guys next week. And continue on the exploration of DACs and tokenomics. So thank you so much. Take care, guys.
You guys. Catch you, everyone.